Today Jesus is at the home of Martha and Mary. In this text, in the King James Version, it says that Jesus is in a certain village visiting a certain woman named Martha, which I like because it's kind of specific, but it also means that it's universal. The text is talking to us, to all of us who live in any village, who are of any type of person, and it's talking to us about the experience we have of being in the presence of God. That's what happens with Martha and Mary. There they are, and Jesus is in their home. Martha sees Jesus on the street. She invites him into the house that she shares with her sister. And as we know, Mary sits there at Jesus' feet, giving him her attention, her patience, her awareness, while Martha is up and busy doing all sorts of things. And Martha is upset that Mary is just sitting there. That's part of the drama of the story. Often when we hear this story, when we hear it preached, and I think in common understanding, we think it's a story about types. But there are two types, right? There's the Martha type and the Mary type. The Martha type is up and busy. The Mary type is quiet, contemplative, not so active. When we're cleaning the house, I try to always convince my wife that I'm not the Martha type. She doesn't buy it. And the truth is that neither do I, because I don't think we can say, in all honesty, that there are types of people. I think we are each part Martha, and we're each part Mary, depending on what the circumstances of our life call for. That we are each at times called to be up and active and busy and vibrant in life, attending to the things that need to be done, because God knows we all have stuff that needs to be done. And we are also each at times contemplative and sitting and thinking and just being. So I don't think it's a story about types, but I think it's a story about distraction. In the story, Martha is distracted. The narrator, Luke, says she is distracted, and Jesus says, Martha, you are distracted by many things. And when Jesus tells Martha that her sister Mary has chosen the better part, what he's saying is, Martha, let go of what distracts you from me. Clear away those things that are in your heart and your mind and your awareness that prevent you from sitting quietly and presently at the feet of God. We don't know exactly why Martha is distracted. It's very possible that Martha is doing what one does when there's hospitality and when a guest shows up unannounced. You're making the bed, you're doing the dishes, you're sweeping the floor, you're doing all of those things. It's very possible that Martha is preparing to wash Jesus' feet. It's very possible she's preparing food for him. All of these great things that one has to do. But I think there's also more. Because Jesus calls Martha out, and Jesus treats Martha in a way that Jesus treats all those who are possessed, and all those who have demons, and all those who have something in them. Jesus has diagnosed Martha, and he wants to help her. And the great thing that Martha has is distraction. Is distraction a sin? Is it something that needs to be cured? Is it an evil? Well, it's not really, unless you're driving and you're texting and you're distracted and you're calling someone, you're sending a photo you just took while you were driving, then distraction can be a real problem. And I know that in our culture today, that many of us, I am early 50s, I look at my children, they have never known a world without the cell phone and the distraction of that. I think it's becoming increasingly difficult to find ourselves present. It's become increasingly challenging to find ourselves in a place where we are only here and not thinking about who just texted me or called me or what's happening in Iran or what's going on the border. I think whoever we are, we find ourselves in a place where even in church, that phone is there. Even in the presence of God, there's something always that's calling and distracting us. And distraction can be bad. When I was in Honduras 20 years ago, I was there while Honduras' national team was in the America's Cup. And for the Honduras, we think World Cup soccer is a big deal here. In Honduras, it is all they have. They live and breathe soccer. Where I lived, it was up on a mountain, and you could see the stadium down below. And whenever there was a goal, this ripple of roaring cheer came up and crashed over the side of the mountains. And so one year when Honduras was playing in their America's Cup, the government of Honduras raised the price of gasoline during the game, almost doubled it. And if the people had noticed, they would have been out in the streets probably protesting and rioting. But as it was, it took them days to know that the price of gasoline had gone up because Honduras won. And they were so busy celebrating that they didn't even know. Politicians distract us. Politicians distract us by giving us fear that there are bad people coming over the border. Politicians distract us all the time by letting us know that something is coming for us while they're busy doing other things. It's a common technique to be distracted, and the world is distracting enough. But spiritually speaking, distractions keep us from being present. They keep us from God. When Jesus says to Martha, you only need one thing. You don't need all of these other things that are distracting you. He's saying to Martha, look at what's important. And he's saying, Martha, don't sit at the feet of yourself. Don't sit at the feet of your own busyness. Don't sit at the feet of your own anxiety about how your house is clean. Don't sit at the feet of your own attempt to control your life. Don't sit at the feet of your own self. Sit at my feet. Sit at the feet of the one who really controls life. Give yourself over to me and let your busyness rest with me. But it's hard. When I was in seminary years ago, I had a class and our homework was to spend a day in silence. So I went to the monastery in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I got there in the morning. I checked myself in with the guest master. I went to the early service, and then I made my way up to my room, my cell, which really only had a bed, a desk, a chair, and a lamp. Not a lot of distractions there. And I closed the door. I put my stuff on the bed, and I sat on the chair. And it was 5 seconds before I started thinking, what am I going to do? Where's my phone? Where's my television? What do I do in the presence of God? Have you ever wondered yourself, what am I doing in the presence of God? There's so much Martha in all of us. And I thank God that we're able to be up and to be out, to be active, to be involved and busy in things. And I know that you are all way busier than you think. Everyone here. But at certain times, the truth is that God has called us to sit at the feet of passivity and silence and to reflect and to receive. If you, in your heart, open your heart and you close your eyes and you try and let God come to what comes up for you. What's it like to be in Jesus' presence for 5 seconds, for an hour, for a day? Do you see the distractions running through your head? Do you see the things that you're trying to worry about for later on today? The things you're regretting about the past? And do you see how they're like the demons in the scriptures that haunt people? And I think that's what Jesus is getting to. He's come to be with us today, like Martha. The God of our salvation, the God who created us, has shown up at our home and is in our living room and inviting us and beckoning us to just come and sit down. And we have perhaps a million excuses. Think about all the things that you got to do once you're back out in that hot world out there, and all the things that you left behind to come here for this hour in that air-conditioned Kenrick room. Think about the worry and the heat and the bills and all that we have in our hearts that distracts us, and the distractions of the world and of the news. And then Jesus says, well, that's why you're here today. You need this one thing. You need me. One thing will attend to all the other things. One thing will make the Martha in you even stronger and better and smarter and more able to be equipped to handle the challenges of the world. That one thing will focus your energy, and Jesus knows what that one thing is. It is Him. I am your food, Jesus says. I am your drink. I am your light on your map. I am the path on the map which you will walk. I am the power behind you pushing forward as you walk. And I am the thing that has gone ahead of you to prepare the way as you walk. And you just need to come to my feet. Give yourself to me for a little bit. What a great gift to have Jesus invited into our house. What a great gift that we've chosen to have Him in our house. And what an opportunity. And I pray for us this week that we can spend some time, whatever we do this summer week, to sit at His feet. That we can spend some time, and if there's a bunch of stuff running in your